I stared at my wedding dress, crumpled on the floor of my sister's room, lipstick stains on the lace. She wore it to her party last night, knowing it was mine, knowing it was for my big day. I saved for a year to buy my wedding dress. It was perfect, white lace, long train, sparkly beads. I kept it in my closet, dreaming of walking down the aisle to Jake. My sister, Lila, saw it once and said it was too fancy. I thought she was just jealous. She's always been like that, taking my stuff, pens, earrings, even my favorite scarf. But the dress. I never thought she'd touch it. Before I share my story, let me know where you are watching from on the comment section and hit that subscribe button so you never miss a story. If you ever hear of a story of such, indicate on the comment section too. Last night, Lila threw a big party. I was at Jake's, planning our honeymoon. When I got home, I found the dress on her floor, wrinkled, with red lipstick smudged on the collar. My heart sank. She wore it. My dress. I stood there, shaking, not knowing what to say. I stormed into Lila's room, the dress in my hands. She was sprawled on her bed, still in last night's makeup. "Why?" I yelled, holding up the dress. She smirked, "It looked better on me." My face burned. I wanted to scream, but Mom walked in, saying, "Girls, stop fighting." She didn't get it. This wasn't just a dress, it was my dream. Lila didn't apologize. She said I was overreacting, that it was just a dress. I felt like I was choking on my anger. Jake called, and I told him everything. He said we'd fix it, but I wasn't sure. How do you fix a sister like Lila? I couldn't let Lila ruin my wedding. Jake and I sat at his kitchen table, brainstorming. "We'll clean it," he said. "Or get a new one." But the dress was special, one of a kind. I felt so betrayed. Lila didn't care about my feelings. She never did. I decided to confront her again, but smarter this time. I called my best friend, Sarah, for advice. She said to lock up my stuff and not let Lila near anything else. Sarah's right. Lila's always taken what's mine. But this time, I'd make sure she didn't win. I started planning how to save my dress and my day. I took the dress to a dry cleaner the next day. The lady behind the counter gasped when she saw the stains. "Lipstick's tough," she said, "but we'll try." I nodded, hoping she could save it. The cost was high, but I didn't care. I just wanted my dress back. While waiting, I thought about Lila. She hadn't said sorry, not even a text. I wondered why she hated me so much. Growing up, we fought, but this was different. This was cruel. I decided to focus on my wedding and not let her ruin it. Mom called a family meeting that night. Lila sat across from me, rolling her eyes. I explained how much the dress meant to me. Mom listened, but Dad said, "It's just clothes." I wanted to scream. Lila shrugged, saying, "I was just having fun." Fun. Ruining my dress was fun. Jake held my hand under the table. He spoke up, saying Lila should pay for the cleaning. Mom agreed, but Lila laughed, saying she was broke. I felt so alone, even with my family there. I knew I had to protect my wedding from her. Sarah came over the next day with a plan. "Let's find a backup dress," she said. We went to a bridal shop, and I tried on a few gowns. They were pretty, but none felt like my dress. Still, I picked one just in case the dry cleaner failed. It was simple, with a short veil. At home, I hid the backup dress in a locked suitcase. Lila wasn't getting near this one. I felt a little better, but my heart still ached for my original dress. I called the dry cleaner. They needed more time. I hoped they could fix it. Lila texted me that night, saying she didn't mean to hurt me. She said she wore the dress because she felt left out of my wedding plans. I didn't buy it. She always had excuses. When we were kids, she'd break my toys and blame it on accidents. This wasn't an accident. I didn't reply. Instead, I focused on Jake. He was planning the rehearsal dinner, trying to keep things normal. I loved him for that. But every time I thought of Lila, my stomach twisted. I needed to talk to her, but not yet. I wasn't ready. The dry cleaner called 2 days later. Good news, the lipstick stains were gone. I rushed to pick up the dress. It looked almost perfect, but there was a tiny tear in the lace. My heart sank, but I thanked the lady. I could fix it with a needle and thread at home. I hid the dress at Jake's place. Lila wouldn't find it there. I felt a mix of relief and anger. The dress was saved, but Lila's betrayal still stung. I decided to keep her away from the wedding for now. I met with our wedding planner, Emma, to update her. She was shocked about Lila and suggested extra security for the wedding. I agreed. I didn't trust Lila not to pull another stunt. Emma also helped me pick flowers to match the dress. It felt good to focus on happy things. Jake joined us later, bringing coffee. He made me laugh, easing my stress. Emma said the wedding would be beautiful, no matter what. I hoped she was right. I just wanted one perfect day without Lila's drama. I spent the weekend fixing the tear in my dress. Sarah helped, bringing her sewing kit. We sat on my bedroom floor, carefully stitching the lace. It wasn't perfect, but it was mine again. I felt proud, like I was taking back control. Lila called, but I ignored her. I didn't want her excuses ruining my mood. Sarah said I was strong for handling this. I didn't feel strong, but I was trying. The wedding was 2 weeks away, and I had to stay focused. Mom called, asking if Lila was still invited to the wedding. I didn't know what to say. Part of me wanted her there, she's my sister. But after the dress, I didn't trust her. Mom said Lila felt bad, but I wasn't sure I believed it. Jake said it was my choice. I thought about uninviting her, but it felt too harsh. Instead, I decided she could come but wouldn't be in the bridal party. I hoped it would keep her from causing trouble. I wasn't sure it would work. The rehearsal dinner was at a small restaurant. Everyone was there, Jake's family, my parents, Sarah, but not Lila. I'd told her to stay away for now. The room was warm, filled with laughter, but I felt a hole where Lila should have been. I hated that she made me feel this way. Jake gave a sweet speech, making everyone smile. I tried to focus on him, but Lila's absence was loud. Mom whispered that Lila was sorry, but I didn't want to hear it. I just wanted to enjoy the night. Lila showed up at my door the next morning. She looked tired, no makeup, no smirk. "I'm sorry," she said. "I was stupid." I didn't know if I could trust her, but she seemed real. She offered to pay for the dress cleaning. I said I'd think about it. We talked for an hour. She said she felt left out, like I was moving on without her. I told her she hurt me. She nodded, tears in her eyes. I wasn't ready to forgive, but I listened. Maybe there was hope. I tried on the repaired dress that night. Sarah and Jake were there, cheering me on. The tear was barely noticeable, and the dress felt like mine again. I twirled in front of the mirror, smiling for the first time in days. Jake said I looked beautiful. I thought about Lila's apology. Maybe I'd let her come to the wedding, but I'd keep her at a distance. The dress was safe now, locked at Jake's. I felt stronger, ready for my big day, no matter what. Jake and I visited the venue, a garden with roses and a small fountain. It was perfect, even with clouds in the sky. Emma, the planner, walked us through the setup. I could see myself walking down the aisle, Jake waiting for me. It felt real. I told Emma about Lila. She suggested assigning someone to watch her during the wedding. I liked that idea. I wanted to enjoy my day without worrying. Jake squeezed my hand, promising everything would be okay. I believed him. I invited Lila to Mom's house to talk. She apologized again, saying she'd stay out of the way at the wedding. Mom and Dad were there, listening. I told Lila she could come but had to respect my boundaries. She nodded, looking serious. I felt lighter after the talk. Maybe Lila could change. I didn't fully trust her, but I wanted her there, just not too close. Mom hugged us both, saying we'd always be sisters. I hoped she was right. The day before the wedding, I had my final dress fitting. Sarah and Emma were there, adjusting the veil. The dress looked amazing, the tear invisible. I felt like a bride, not a sister fighting over a dress. Sarah took pictures, and we laughed. I thought about Lila. She'd texted, promising to behave. I wanted to believe her, but I'd asked Sarah to keep an eye on her tomorrow. I wasn't taking chances. The wedding was my day, And I was ready. I woke up on my wedding day feeling nervous but excited. Sarah helped me get ready, curling my hair. The dress was perfect, waiting in its bag. Jake texted me a heart emoji, making me smile. I was ready to marry him. Lila arrived early, dressed simply, no drama. She hugged me, saying, "You look beautiful." I thanked her but stayed cautious. Sarah watched her like a hawk. I took a deep breath, ready to walk down the aisle. The garden was perfect, roses blooming, the fountain sparkling. I walked down the aisle, Jake smiling at me. My dress felt right, like it was meant to be. Lila sat in the back, quiet, no trouble. I focused on Jake, my heart full. We said our vows, and I cried a little. Jake's eyes were shiny too. Everyone clapped when we kissed. For a moment, I forgot about Lila and the dress drama. This was my day, and it was perfect. The reception was in a tent near the garden, with fairy lights and music. Jake and I danced, laughing. Lila stayed at her table, talking to Mom. Sarah kept watch, but Lila seemed okay. I relaxed, enjoying the cake and speeches. Jake whispered that he loved me, and I felt so happy. The dress drama felt far away. I glanced at Lila, who smiled at me. Maybe she was trying. I hoped so, but I focused on my new life with Jake. Lila approached me during the reception. "I'm really sorry," she said, her voice quiet. "I want to be better." I nodded, not sure what to say. She handed me a small gift, a bracelet with a heart charm. It was sweet, but I was still careful. We talked for a bit, away from the crowd. She said she was jealous but wanted to change. I told her it would take time. She nodded, and we hugged. It wasn't fixed, but it was a start. Jake and I left for our honeymoon the next day. We were headed to a beach resort. Just us. I packed the bracelet Lila gave me, thinking about her. I wanted to believe she'd change, but I wasn't sure. For now, I focused on Jake at the airport. Jake held my hand, excited. The dress drama felt like a distant memory. I was ready for this new chapter. No Lila, no fights, just us. I smiled, feeling free for the first time in weeks. The resort was paradise, blue water, white sand. Jake and I walked on the beach, laughing. I wore the bracelet, thinking about Lila's apology. It was hard to stay mad in a place this beautiful. Jake said we'd make new memories here tonight. We sat by a bonfire, talking about our future. I told him about Lila's gift. He said to give her a chance, but slowly. I agreed. For now, I was happy just being with him, no drama. When we got home, a letter from Lila was waiting. She wrote that she was starting therapy to work on herself. She said she wanted to be a better sister. I read it twice, feeling a mix of hope and doubt. It was a big step for her. I showed Jake the letter. He said it sounded genuine. I decided to write back, saying I appreciated it but needed time. I wasn't ready to fully trust her, but I wanted to try. Maybe we could rebuild. A month later, I met Lila for coffee. She looked different, calmer. We talked about small things, not the dress or the wedding. It felt nice, like when we were kids. She said therapy was helping. I told her I was proud. Jake and I were settling into married life. The dress was packed away, a memory of a tough time but also my strength. Lila and I weren't fixed, but we were trying. That was enough for now. I smiled, ready for whatever came next.